we are starting the meeting. In the room are Betty Rose Ryan, Tony Ryan, David Atkin, John Hirschman, Blake Huber, and myself. Attending online, I see Mike Quinlan, Mike Spalding, John Pickerel, Beatrice Sutton, Josh Lallement, Eric Mulder, and Kevin Gulbranson. Has everyone read the agenda? Are there any additions to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll continue. I'm going to introduce our guests. I see Tony Ryan here and Kevin Gulbranson, our guests. If either of you have anything to say, go ahead. You got up to 3 minutes for public commentary. Mr. Gulbranson, do you have anything to say?
Up to speak. Hello?
Hello.
Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted.
Okay. Well, I'm quite sure that my Arapahoe LP chairman will speak to our Arapahoe Happy this week, which is tomorrow night. And I'll let him go through the details. I just want to say, however, that that meeting will be at my home. And I have decided that since I am the governor of this property, I have declared my home to be open and free and have removed any mask mandates from this facility for the duration. So, if you come, you're free to wear a mask if you'd like, but you're not required to. And there will be a fairly extensive Mexican buffet, make your own taco burrito bar. And I probably have planned more food than I'm going to have people for. So all comers are welcome. And that's about it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gulbranson. Affiliates and LNC reports. Adams? No one here from Adams. Arapahoe?
All right. Good evening, everybody. This is LP Colorado Vice Chair Eric Mulder switching hats to Chair of the Libertarian Party of Arapahoe County. As Kevin Gulbranson pointed out, Arapahoe Happy Hour is tomorrow at his and Michelle's place. It will start around 6:30, but if you show up at 6, you're welcome to socialize with other libertarians. We have a wonderful special guest who is going to be Zooming in, and Arapahoe County is going to continue Zoom access for the foreseeable future. Our Zoom guest this month is going to be the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania's very own chairman, Steve Sheets himself. Steve's going to be talking to us about how Pennsylvania has found success at putting libertarians in seats in local office. It's going to be a good time. So that'll be at 6:30 at Kevin and Michelle's place. If you would like the Zoom login details so you can watch from home, just message me at eric.mulder.lp@gmail.com.
Thank you, Mr. Mulder. Boulder? Chaffee? Delta? Denver? Douglas? Go ahead, Beatrice.
We are meeting at On the Rocks every first Thursday at 6 p.m. I don't know who our speakers are for the future, but we hope to see a lot of you there. Again, On the Rocks off of Lincoln in Parker. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Sutton. Albert? El Paso?
How about the echo?
Let me hang on. Go ahead.
Okay. El Paso's chair, Nathan Fauch, is in Georgia right now, trying out for a job. I mean, it looks real likely he's going to be moving. So we are already thinking of a special convention in order to elect a replacement. Our current vice chair is Ed Duffett, who was our LP's Congressional District 5 candidate last election. He was vice chair as well as secretary. At the last board meeting, we elected Christina Page as a replacement secretary. So things are changing. We still have we've got over $1,000, and that's because we haven't been able to spend it on any outreach stuff. We are doing a gun show on March 13th and 14th. And it was originally posted, it was an event on the LPCO webpage as looking for volunteers, but I have a full slate of volunteers. So if you want to come to the gun show, come, but we don't really need any more help at the table. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. We're going to go back to Denver. We're going back to Denver since the chair of Denver just arrived. What's going on with Denver? Go ahead, Mr. Fury.
Libertarian Party of Denver is holding our next meeting on Tuesday, March 16th at 6:30 p.m. at Brew Bar. Be back in person for the first time in a few months.
Exciting.
That's about all we have going on right now.
Thank you, Mr. Fury.
Yep.
Jefferson, do we have someone here from Jefferson?
Did you get one of those bylaws workbooks? Oh, yeah.
Anyone from Jefferson County? Well, I guess not. I know that they're having a get together at Hangar Bar this Saturday for St. Patrick's Day. I don't know the address. And their normal meeting is the third Thursday of the month at Holiday Lanes. Mesa, anyone here from Mesa? Pueblo?
Yeah.
ONC? Oh,
John.
Mr. Pickerel, go ahead.
Yeah,
We cannot hear you. Or maybe I'm just can't.
I can hear him.
Oh, there you are.
okay. As I mentioned last month, there's been a change of leadership in Pueblo. Jim Wiley I turned things over to him as an interim chair, and he wasted no time in affiliating Pueblo. So I think Jim deserves a big round of applause for that. He was elected as chairman. We have a petition for affiliation before the board this evening, I believe. And Jim is off to the races doing great things. He is now holding 2 meetings a month. One, the first Tuesday of the month will be a business meeting of the directors of the county affiliate, respective affiliate, I guess you should say. And then the third Tuesday of the month will be the general meeting. We'll have a guest speaker. We'll discuss issues and topics and that sort of thing. So we did have a business meeting on the 2nd of March, and on the 16th, next Tuesday, we'll have our general meeting. And so I think Jim really deserves a lot of praise for just hitting the ground running.
Yes. Go ahead, Mr. Gershman.
Yeah, John, I'd just like to
Unmute yourself.
unmute myself.
Yes, so that they can hear you.
Just let Jim and his treasurer know that I'm available to come discuss how to do treasurer stuff with him anytime.
Okay, will do. And we had an interim treasurer meeting that you and Victoria attended, and we were able to find a replacement for her. And we now have a permanent treasurer. And so we're full up around.
Awesome.
Not gonna get yourself exciting stuff. LNC. Okay. Has everyone read the minutes?
Madam Chairman, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Gilbranson.
Yes, I had my hand up, and before you move on, there's one other little thing, and it kind of represents Arapahoe, even though they don't know it yet. Jeffco and Douglas. We had a discussion around the possibility of putting together a 420 event. I know that's more than a month away, and we'll certainly have more details, but we've also reached out to the Denver County affiliate. Our thought was to have all of the metro area affiliates co-sponsor a little 420 party. It's still uncertain as to whether Denver will have one this year. We have secured a facility that is in unincorporated Arapahoe County that is 420 friendly, and there will be food available. It will be either the weekend before or the weekend after 420, since 420 is on a Tuesday. And we would toss it out there if the Libertarian Party of Colorado would like to be a co-sponsor as well. And any thoughts on whether Saturday is better or Sunday, whether the weekend before or after is better? It's in the early stages of planning, so any feedback or input anybody would like to give would be very welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbranson. Now, we do have a lot of business to get through this board meeting, so I will appreciate the guests not to make any more commentary unless specifically asked to. Thanks.
Victoria's muted.
Yeah, I can't hear.
All right, Secretary, calendar items.
Okay, I have no calendar items other than, of course, the convention is coming up and we have passed the deadline for people to be registered as libertarians.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We'll move on to officer reports, questions, motions, 5 minutes each. Chairman, I have nothing to add to my report. However, I would like to make a motion to fund the newsletter for a full year at a time, having to request each time to fund the newsletter for each time when it's a bylaws mandated item. I would like to request the board to approve the next year of newsletters. They are quarterly. They cost approximately $1,400 each time so far. We'd like to ask to approve up to $6,000 for the full year. If we can, I know that some of the volunteers have said that if we do get funding for a full year, they will continue helping. If not, they won't. So I'd like to make that motion regarding the newsletter.
This is John Pickerel. I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second on the newsletter for a budget up to $6,000 per year as mandated by our bylaws. Miss Ryan. I believe we can, Mr. Dershman. Can we separate or tag donations that come in from the newsletter itself or earmark them? Donations for newsletter? The question from Ms. Ryan.
I can't think of a way to really do that. I mean, I could do like a spreadsheet and list them.
But there's a way to do something to earmark them. Okay. Mr. Atkin?
Dave is muted.
Yes, I'd like to know if the $1,400 includes postage.
Yes. It does include postage so far. If it raises, then we'd have to ask for more money later. there's a huge increase. But we'd like to at least request that we have the full year's budget approved at once. Yes, Mr. Jershman, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear them? Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to say that we have $23,000 available. And plus we have 10,000 in the convention fund.
So we do have the money to be able to approve that much
Yep.
for the year. Anybody else? Any further discussion?
This is John
Yes,
Pickerel.
Mr. Huber.
I have a question about the newsletter. We publish it in paper
Mhm.
and mail it out.
Mhm.
Do we also send out a PDF via email?
Yes.
This is John Pickerel. You recognized?
Any further questions? Any further discussion?
John's
Yes,
trying to get
Mr. Pickerel,
recognized
go
by the
ahead.
chair.
I suggest, just because of the large amount of money, I suggest we do a roll call vote. Did you hear me?
What's a roll call vote?
A roll call vote? Okay, we can do that. Are we ready for a vote? Okay. Yes, Mr. Atkin, he's got something more to say.
Yes, if we're going to send out a PDF, I need to get a publishable PDF from the newsletter committee before you do it. The last one we didn't get, so we have no record of it. And that's really disturbing.
Okay, we will get you a proper PDF now that Michelle is volunteering again. She gets that done right. Okay, any further discussion? All right, we'll move to a vote. And I will do it by roll call as requested by Mr. Pickerel. Vice Chair,
Yes.
Treasurer,
Yes.
affiliates,
Yes.
fundraising,
Yes.
campaigns,
I'm voting for campaigns, Bruce Griffith, and yes.
outreach. Outreach is not present. Legislative,
I vote yes.
membership. John,
Yes.
communications,
Yes.
secretary.
Yes.
It is unanimous. The vote passes. Thank you very much. We can
It's
move on.
not unanimous.
Who voted no?
Legislative.
He voted yes.
I voted yes.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
All right, so it is unanimous and the vote passes. Nothing further with my report, Vice Chair.
I have nothing to add to my report.
Treasurer,
Nothing to add.
affiliates.
Nothing to add. I have a motion later.
Could you do it now?
Oh, I move that we accept the affiliation application of Pueblo County Development Group.
There is a motion to approve the affiliation of Pueblo County. Is there a second?
I didn't.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Yay.
I'll pass the good news along to Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Pickerel. Fundraising. Yes, would you come over here or I'll bring this over to you. That way I can hear you.
Just speak into the computer.
There's a group of us that have gotten together to discuss tiered membership and joint membership. We ran an experiment last November, I believe it was, where not this past November, the November before, and Joe Johnson and I reached out to people and asked them to donate money, become part of the party, whatever. And it went to national. It was supposed to be a split membership, $25 to national for a membership there and the rest to us. National set it up wrong, so we got the 25 and they got the rest, but Andy says he can correct that in the future. But the thing that we've been talking about recently is all-inclusive donation. We don't have memberships right now, although that might come in the future, some kind of membership. But for $100, the person could join national, join state, and join their local affiliate. The reason that we would do that is then somebody just has to check the box one time donation, and for a year, they're part of all three groups.
What happens to the other $25?
The extra $25 then goes to whatever entity managed to get that person to sign the check or put the donation in. The reason being is that if you have people working at national and they know that they're going to get an extra $25, they're more likely to raise money for us than for other states at the time. County affiliates, even if we don't have county affiliate at the time, I believe that we've been segregating funds for groups, county groups, development groups, whatever. That would be an extra bonus in their pocket, and it might encourage volunteers to help raise that money. And $25 at the state level is excellent, obviously. The one thing that Joe Johnson pointed out, he says, we're a party of responsibility and capitalism. And he believes that it would be a good idea out of that extra $25 that we actually pay people to come in and try and raise that money. I happen to agree with him that if we're going to have people raising money, that we should probably pay them. Not me, because I'm a volunteer's fundraising, but people that do the hands-on work.
So they would get a portion of this $100?
They would get $10
For every membership.
For every membership that they personally got to come in. That is the structure that Joe Johnson and Michelle Pogue have put together. I think it's a good idea, but I'm willing.
I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Would the membership be required for people to participate or in the party, or can just registered libertarians continue to be members?
Well, right now the bylaws are clear. The membership is solely based on being registered. This would be quote unquote a sustaining membership or whatever level you want to call it.
So like it's a fundraising activity.
It's mostly a fundraising activity to keep the wheels going. But it also, one of the advantages is if we reach out to registered libertarians that are not members at national, that boosts our numbers at national as well. And that gives us some advantage at the convention, the national convention. Any other questions?
Is this something the membership would have to approve, or can the board do it?
The board could do it because it's not.
It's just a fundraising. So we don't ask them to approve other fundraising.
Well, I was thinking about the membership thing.
This tiered sustaining membership would have.
It's just like the 1776 club. You know, sustaining membership.
Yours.
Okay. I was in a staff meeting with Tyler Harris and a couple other people at National today, and this subject of multi-tiered memberships came up, and the National Party is very much interested in it. So I think we'll be seeing something from that in the near future.
Yes, thank you. We don't have to call it a member of any sort. We could call it a donation or a donating member or a sustaining member. This is fundraising. This is not having to do with membership in the party. Membership of the party is controlled by state law. Also, Madam Chairman, Mike Spalding and Kevin Gilbradson have had their hands up for a while. And you were muted, so I'll repeat what you said. Mike Spalding, you're up next. Then after Mike is Kevin.
Mike Spalding, then Kevin Gilbranson. And
Okay, does membership
Go
give
ahead.
them anything? I mean, from National, you get a paper card. Bet Rose, are you planning on giving them anything for their membership?
Oh, to your point, it would be a national membership. We would be signing them up for a national membership. But for us, it's just a tier, donation tier.
Okay.
Mike, could you repeat your question, please? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, well, the question was, are we going to recognize them or give something because they're a member, they get a discount at convention? And Bet Rose mentioned that was not what they were going to do. It's just a donation tier.
Right, but if you join if you go through this, one of the perks might be that you get the newsletter mailed to you, because I don't know how we determine who all gets the newsletter.
All donors get it.
All donors?
Mhm.
Okay. So they're also talking about different perks that you can get. I haven't gotten that far with them.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Mr. Gilbranson, you had a comment?
Yes, I've been rather close to the issue. I believe it might have been misstated. I think the latest iteration of the concept was that it would be $100 split, $30, $30, $30, and $10. The 30 would go to national, even though that's above the 25 they're currently asking for. The $30 would go to the state, and the $30 would go to the county.
Not at all. Neither.
And a floating $10 would be available as a commission to an independent person who sold the package. So that's one thing. The second item was, as far as a membership goes, this would be legitimate national membership with all of the rights and benefits of national membership, including the benefit to the state of having additional national members, which does get us greater representation with the national party. Would also be considered to have some sort of a sustaining member pin that would be sent to these people. And yes, it would guarantee them a mail copy of the newsletter, which they're not guaranteed today necessarily. I've been responsible for the last year and a half, 2 years of putting together a mailing list that would go, that the newsletter would go to. And we've started that and built that based originally on donating members. And some of those donating members were on the list 2-3 years ago and may or may not have donated since. So that's an ongoing issue that needs to be cleaned up. And I also know that there was an LNC meeting yesterday, and Joe Bishop Henchman had on the agenda the discussion of some sort of a combined state national membership. I don't know where that went. We don't have an LNC rep on the call today, so unless somebody else knows how that discussion went, but obviously since David had some discussion with people, it was brought up, and they're working on some alternatives. But we don't necessarily need to do exactly what National does if we want to do something above and beyond. I think we should. And also, you can go in and look at what the LP of Indiana has done. They do a very similar combination three-way membership. I think this is ideal to bring money into the counties, to get people involved in the county level. People will get involved where their money is. And if they've made the contribution, they feel like they're part of it. And I think that's something this party badly needs. It may be a good recommendation that Michelle, Joe, Betty Rose, whoever else put together a document to present to the board and bring this up for a vote at the April meeting. It would be nice to have this done before convention because we can use this as a huge fundraiser at the fundraising dinner at convention.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbranson. Anyone else have any comments? Any other members of the board? I think it's a great idea. Is this a motion for us to approve? We don't have to approve anything.
No, because
it's a fundraising.
Fundraising thing. I just want to get feedback.
So there's no need for any motions. It's more informational, I guess. But is anybody on the board opposed to this tiered membership?
I prefer the 25, 25, 25, and the extra 25 going to the, rather than the 30, 30, 10.
Absolutely.
Just my opinion.
I do too. I do too. Anybody else have any comment on this? Is there anybody opposed to doing this? I mean, it's not an actual motion, but is there anyone opposed?
Opposed, but I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I was thinking that there must be a way, and that hasn't been confirmed. There must be a way, like for an affiliates donate, to have a special donate button on their webpage that sends the money directly, $25 directly from the donor to national, directly to 25 to state, and then 50 to themselves. And the reason I was pushing for that is then we don't have to report it to the FEC because it's a direct donation from the individual to the LP. But I asked Stripe about it, and they didn't sound very encouraging. But I still think it should be possible.
I'll brainstorm that.
Yeah, David, can you think that would be possible to do the donations go directly, get dispersed to 3 different things? Is that something we could do with national?
That's still being worked out, I think. It's part of the discussion about these split donations is how we deal with the FEC and that sort of thing. So the topic is very much under consideration about how that exactly is going to work.
Thank you, Mr. Atkin.
I have nothing further.
You have nothing further. Okay. Fundraising has nothing further. And we'll do that membership initiative as long as there's no objection so far. Campaigns, Mr. Griffith.
I'm reporting for Mr. Griffith, and he said it was a pretty sparse month due to other issues and has nothing to add to his report.
Thank you. Outreach, is outreach present? Funkhauser. Mr. Cap.
Sorry. Yeah, nothing further to add. Sorry about that. I was on mute.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. I saw that you were there. I just couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I was talking, but sorry.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Cavan. Legislative.
I wish to apologize to our chairman and to the board. I've not been active in the last month due to a reaction to my second dose of the vaccine, but I expect to be able to be active going forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Huber. I know there were a couple gun laws that went into the House for hearing today, one of them having to do with storage of firearms. And there's another law that's being presented soon regarding the potency of cannabis that might be important. Now that you're back, welcome back. We're glad that you're doing better. Maybe you could take a look at that when you can. Membership, Mr. Pickrell.
Thank you. The only addition to my report, it did not make it into the publication, but it is posted on the Google Drive. I would like to remind everybody of the newsletter deadlines. The deadline for submissions was 1 March. We'll have a draft ready, first draft ready by 11th of March. The final draft will be 18th of March, and the approval for release is due March.
The first draft is done.
Yes. And then hard copies, if everything stays on schedule, hard copies will be printed and hit the mail on the 1st of April. So just want to make sure everybody was aware of that.
2 weeks from now.
And I would like to thank everyone who's on the newsletter team. I have very little to do with that. And Victoria and the others that are on the newsletter team are doing all the heavy lifting on this. So I don't want to pretend like I'm the one doing this. I just want to share the dates.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pickrell. Communications?
Nothing to add.
Secretary?
I have a question. We were talking, and I have nothing to add to the report, but I do have a question. We were talking about the business directory. Has somebody taken that on? Or is that something that we're looking at for the future? I saw a few emails go back and forth.
Yeah, I sent out that email for that initiative, but I didn't really get too many responses, and that's going to be quite a challenge to do. So I shelved it for now.
Are there issues with us just listing people on a page on the website?
I'd like to have them being donors if we're going to list them.
Well, okay, so that adds complexity. And then we had all the donor levels and everything, and we got nothing. Another issue is we have 11 board positions that are up for election. Should we feature that on our convention page, or maybe even send something to people who buy convention tickets?
That would be a great question for the convention committee chair.
If only she was here.
I am here. Can you repeat the question?
We got 11 board positions up for election. So should we feature that on the convention page and the website, or maybe even send that out to people who buy tickets so that people can be thinking about stepping into some of these positions?
I believe the call to convention has those listed, but we can add it to our website part for the convention.
Where is the call to convention that you're talking about that has this listed?
On the website.
On the website.
Okay. All right. All right. Thanks.
No, but thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Technology?
Madam Chairman.
Who just spoke?
Vice Chair Mulder.
Yes, Ms. You have something to question on the secretary?
Yes, something to question to the secretary in regards to the business coalition idea.
Okay.
And this is also for Martin as well. I noticed that the Republican Party in Colorado has a small business coalition, but it's categorized as a club and is not officially run by the state party. It's kind of like almost sort of its own caucus, if you will. So you think that's something you might want to consider looking at doing?
No, I don't think so. I think we only have a very few people interested to start. It'd be a while before we got enough. And then for them to spend their time on a meeting, just, you know, a listing gets some extra customers, so it has value.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mulder. Thank you, Mr. Spalding. Moving on with if there's no further questions for secretary, moving on with standing committee reports. Technology?
I have nothing to add.
Database?
Nothing to add.
Ad hoc committees. Welcome committee. Mark is not here. Campaigns committee, there's nothing going on. Legislative committee. You are still looking for volunteers?
I have a few.
Thank you. Platform committee, I do not see the platform committee chair here or anyone from the platform committee. Constitution and bylaws committee.
Nothing to add to the report. We are sending out, we have posted what we are considering doing and how many people were for and against those different proposals. And we'd like to hear back from the public. We will be voting on that at the end of this month on which changes we're actually going to present.
Thank you, Ms. Ryan. Convention committee. Ms. Sutton.
One item to add, buy your tickets tonight. Don't wait. They will sell out. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Ryan, you have a question for the convention?
I have a question about the convention, probably directed at John or somebody. I signed up for myself, and then I tried to sign up for my husband, and it said, oh, it looks like you've already signed up, and wouldn't let me sign up. So this may be an issue.
Andy Burns.
Okay.
Yeah, would you send an email to database, copy me?
Okay.
Thank you, because if that's an issue, we need to find out. Unfinished business, none. New businesses all happened. Yes, Ms. Ryan.
I can't remember. Hold on. I can't
Motion
remember.
to adjourn. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
You know, I think we had that same issue last year where, you know, once you had a ticket that kind of locked you. So I was kind of hoping that would have been resolved, but apparently not.
Okay.
Oh, you have a completely different name to start with. Like you have to redo it and put in the whole
I know it.
first
I
different
did.
name.
I did, but it still said, looks like you've already signed up because I'm using the same
Credit card.
I was using a different credit card too.
Oh.
It was
Okay.
like it was reading my computer. I might have to use a different computer.
Well, you should be able to buy more than one ticket.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Something to look into. Anything further? Are there any other motions?
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Cavan.
I'm looking at the convention schedule now. Is it not finished?
It is not finished.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a second.
Second.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.
Record, man.
Nope,
Outstanding.
this is not a record.
I cannot remember what I needed to bring up.